We have put our intellect to work, and we've come up with the policies and programs that can take Jamaica forward out of the rut, out of the stagnation after nearly 10 years of Labour Party rule.
So they are putting together this program that the success of it will allow the kids to have access to a cooked meal, cooked breakfast, cooked lunch. But the reality is that here is an MP that is articulating a program for her constituency where she's bringing all of the constituents into play. So she's saying, you know, embracing the farming community where they can provide supplies to the schools.
Blessings, ABR family and viewers. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, Anisabel Rose. And in this one, newly elected Member of Parliament in Manchester Northeastern, Audrey Marks, outlines her plans for the constituency after the election. And when you hear these plans, it really, really sounds very much familiar. As well as an article via WireJA shows why Jamaica cannot take a stance against Israel. A multi-billion-dollar contract is the reason for that. Please stay tuned for the details at hand. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now, ABR family and viewers, let us take a look at the Manchester Northeastern constituency in the September 3rd, 2025 general election, where a former ambassador of Jamaica, Audrey Marks, went up against a Valentin Wint of the People's National Party and a Clive Warren of the JPP, where she was declared the winner by the EOJ with 8,139 votes to Valentin Wint 6,274 and a Clive Warren who received 33 votes. And here I have a little snippet of a gentleman basically outlining her plans for the constituency, and she picked up all of these during her whole campaign season. And when I tell you that, it puzzles me up to this day how some of these persons were elected without having even a plan, having even a manifesto for the constituency. I still cannot understand. But I'm about to play what this gentleman is saying that her plans for the constituency are. And I want you to listen keenly, because my memory serves me very correct. And these plans that are outlined by this newly minted MP sounds very, very, very familiar. Take a listen.
Our constituency, she recognized that while she was campaigning, she said that a lot of the kids in our community was only going to school for 3 days a week. Most of them had poor nutrition, and you know, for different reasons, they weren't attending school. So she has basically met with her constituents, and she has outlined a policy that looks at the school system, ensuring that kids go to school 5 days a week with a nutrition program. She has met with the Minister of Education, not a youngster, Dr. Dana Morrison. Can't remember her last name. But anyway, and so they are putting together this program that the success of it will allow the kids to have access to a cooked meal, cooked breakfast, cooked lunch. The program will cover them with school books, tuition for students in public schools, and up to kids up to the age of 18 years of age, right? They're using the rural school bus program, and much has been made in terms of that, and so on. But the reality is that here is an an MP that is articulating a program for her constituency where she's bringing all of the constituents into play. So she's saying, you know, embracing the farming community where they can provide supplies to the schools so that students can get a cook lunch. So what you're doing is integrating the all of the different stakeholders within the constituency to get it working. And I believe that that is a refreshing step. And I would hope that if, you know, the success of it, if you know, I expect it to be successful, my experience with Ambassador or Minister Marks is that she does what she says.
So let me ask, for the people them who did not pay attention to the People's National Party's campaign, and of the People's National Party campaign plans them there, and of them something of them did a ring out right throughout the entire campaign season and even before. And of the People's National Party plans and policies them here. Alright, we are run back the tape.
We have put our intellect to work, and we've come up with the policies and programs that can take Jamaica forward out of the rut, out of the stagnation after nearly 10 years of Labour Party rule. In the debate, where one of their debaters took an idea that I had proposed in my budget speech in 2022 and tried to pretend that it is theirs. This is something they do all the time. They are copycats, they don't have original thoughts. And we recognize that we have to do more for our children and their parents who are struggling under the cost of living pressures. That is why we have the EASE program, to ensure a hot, nutritious meal for every needy child. 55% of the school children are from a situation where they are suffering from food insecurity. Under the PNP, come to school. You don't need lunch money. You will get your hot, nutritious meal produced from good Jamaican food, grown by the good Jamaican farmers. We're going to spend $9 billion a year extra to make that happen. And for the parents who struggle with the lunch money and also with the transportation costs, and the children are not going to school 5 days a week during the school term because the transportation costs are too much for them. We're going to send out the social worker. We're going to send out the guidance counselor. We're going to check it out. And if that's your situation, $10,000 a month per child you will get as a subsidy to cover your transportation costs. Under the next PNP government, 20,000 families will benefit from that across Jamaica. We're going to juke them with the ride. We're going to juke them with the ease.
Now in this segment, we see an article from Wire.ja, and this is dated back to July 6, 2025, and it says Jamaica's compromised leadership in CARICOM on Gaza crisis. Now we've seen a few years ago, Jamaica didn't really take a stance as it relates to, you know, Israel and the war that's been ongoing between them and the Palestine. And fast forward to this year at the 80th UN annual meeting, they did not show up for a vote. And we see them come out and try to justify it. But here's the real reason why them can't come out against Israel. And this has to do with some multi-billion-dollar cybersecurity contract between them and Israel. And so in this article, it says more than 40 Caribbean civil society organizations have issued an unprecedented demand for CARICOM to call for international arms embargoes and urge member states to suspend diplomatic relations with Israel, placing enormous pressure on Jamaica as the regional bloc's new chair. But behind closed doors at Jamaica's House, Prime Minister Anju faces an uncomfortable truth. His government $4 billion cybersecurity contract with Israel defense contractor Elta Systems and extensive intelligence sharing agreements have fundamentally compromised Jamaica's ability to respond to these calls for moral leadership on Gaza. The civil society coalition spanning from Jamaica's Left Alliance for National Democracy and Socialism to regional organizations across the Caribbean has demanded that CARICOM leaders advocate for international legal proceedings against Israel at the International Court of Justice and cut all ties with the Israeli rogue state. Their open letter, timed for Jamaica's assumption of the CARICOM chairmanship for 6 months in July 2025, represents the most coordinated Caribbean pressure campaign since the anti-apartheid movement against South Africa. Yet the reality is more complex. CARICOM can only call for such measures, not impose them, and faces additional constraints from U.S. concerns about preferred trading status arrangements with Caribbean nations that take strong anti-Israel stances. Yet Jamaica's response reveals the price of digital entanglement with Israel intelligence operations. The country that once led moral crusades in international affairs now finds itself diplomatically paralyzed, unable to match the principled stance taken by smaller Caribbean neighbors like Belize, with suspended diplomatic relations with Israel, or Barbados, whose Prime Minister Mottley described Gaza as the world's first televised genocide. Jamaica's compromised position became starkly apparent when it was the only Caribbean nation to fail to vote on the crucial October 27, 2023 UN General Assembly resolution calling for an immediate humanitarian truce in Gaza. The conclusion of it all, Jamaica's Israeli cybersecurity partnerships have created a diplomatic dependency that fundamentally compromises its ability to lead regional responses to the Gaza crisis. While the country has maintained official support for Palestinian rights and ceasefire calls as CARICOM chair, its $4 billion security contract with ELTA Systems and broader intelligence sharing agreements have constrained its diplomatic flexibility at crucial moments. The result is a weakened regional voice on one of the most pressing international crises of our time, as civil society pressure mounts and other Caribbean nations assume greater leadership roles. Jamaica's experience serves as a cautionary tale about how security partnerships can undermine the very diplomatic independence they are meant to protect. The question now is whether Jamaica can navigate these constraints while maintaining its traditional role as a moral voice in international affairs, or whether Caribbean leadership on Gaza will increasingly shift to nations like Barbados, Belize, and Guyana that have proven more willing to take principled stance despite potential diplomatic costs. So it is evident here that Anju is just trying to protect his diplomatic, status as it relates to the US and the wider world. And even though now he is the chairman of the CARICOM, him still not have the balls like a mere Mottley. So when we say, or we heard, that Jamaica has basically dropped the torch and Barbados have that torch, we would want a representation, we would want a leader as a Mia Mottley who stands for truths and right, humanitarian acts, and does not look at diplomatic visas or privileges and silence herself or her country to please others. When you hear it right here, so when you see it, security contract between them and Israel, and this has been ongoing since 2017. Remember, Anju took office in 2016. So him nah go ever go against Israel. Not at all. So all who waiting and hoping that will happen, it nah go happen. Nevertheless, what says you, ABR family and viewers? Drop your comments in the comment section. I want to hear from you what you think about Audrey Marks with all these plans and policies that were set out by the People's National Party. Using them now to sort out the constituency that she was elected in. Many you wanna say. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. On the road to 50k. Help me to get there, please and thanks. Get this video to at least 7,000 likes. Stay tuned for more videos. Stay tuned for more updates. Big up on yourself. Happy Sunday.